Hey guys, today we're talking about the roots of a quadratic equation. So the roots of a quadratic equation is just simply the coordinates of the points where the parabola crosses the x-axis, which is also called the x-intercepts. Right, this is something that we saw a very long time ago when we're talking about intercept. Where does it cross? Okay, in this case, where does it cross the x-axis? You're looking for the points where your parabola, when it's graphed, crosses the x-axis. Okay, so if you look at this graph, for example, that you have here in red for y equals x squared minus x minus 2, I'm looking to see where does my parabola cross the x-axis here. And I see 2 points where that happens. I see a point right here, and I see a point right over here as well. So your roots are going to be whatever the x value is at those points. So this point over here is the point 2, 0. And this point over here is the point -1, 0. So your roots, there's a couple of ways that we can write this. Okay, one way that you can write this is the following. You can say the roots of this equation is x is equal to 2. Okay, meaning the x value right here, or you can say n as well, x is equal to -1, which is just the x value over here where this graph crosses my x-axis over here. Now, another way that this can be written is the following way. We can use what we call set notation to write our roots. So there's two different ways that you can see this written out, especially on a multiple choice answer. And you can choose, if it's not a multiple choice, you can choose whichever way you want to write it. Just be consistent with the way that you choose to write it so that you don't get yourself confused. But another way that we can write this is the following. We can say that our roots are the values 2 and -1. So this is not a point, okay? This is not a point. This is not the point 2, -1. Okay, that's not what that is. This is the set of points. This is a set of values that includes 2 and -1. Okay, so here your roots is 2 and -1. Now, if you notice, the roots that we got were the point 2, 0, and the points, we used the points 2, 0 and the point -1, 0 to find our roots. Is there anything special that you notice about both of these points? Yes, if you said that both of the y values here are equal to 0, that is correct, okay? Anytime you're looking for your roots, you're looking to see where are your y values equal to 0. Because if your y value is equal to 0, then that means that that point lies right on the x-axis, okay? And the reason why I mentioned that as well is because another way that people or mathematicians like to call roots, another name for roots, is actually zeros. Okay, so roots and zeros, okay, roots and zeros mean the same thing. Okay, so if somebody's asking you what are the roots of this parabola, or they're asking you what are the zeros of this parabola, they both mean the exact same thing, because at your roots, okay, the y value is equal to 0. Okay, now that was an example where the graph was already given to you. Now we're going to do an example where you actually have to create a graph, and then you have to figure out what the roots are. So we're going to take this quadratic function right here. We're going to put it in y equals in our calculator, and we're going to go ahead and plot that. So I'm going to just write down the table that we got with all the points that I can fit. Okay, I can fit -3, 5. I can fit -2, 0, -1, -3. 1, -3, and 2, 0. Okay, and if I go to 3, I'm also going to get 5. And now I can go ahead and plot these points. If you notice, those of you who are still having trouble with your vertex, I'm just going to keep repeating it over and over again in as many sessions as I can. I'm looking to see which of these y values does not have a partner. And as you can tell, -4 is the only one that doesn't repeat. -4 does not have a partner. After -4, everything else starts to repeat back again. So that's your turning point. So I'm going to start by graphing my turning point. So I have 0, -4. Then I'm going to plot everything else that I can fit, even if it's not on my table. I have -1, -3, -2, 0, -3, 5. And then I have the same thing on the other side. Oops. And then I'm going to go ahead and connect my points, making my U shape. And drawing my arrows. And now if they're asking me for the roots, again, that's the same thing as the zeros. So there's two things you can do. You can either look at your table, right? If I look at your table, I'm looking for which of these y values has a value of 0. And I see a value of 0 right here. I see a value of 0 right over here. So I know that my roots, okay, my roots are the x value of these blue points that I circle, okay, the x value of -2 and the x value of +2. Okay, also if you look at your graph, I'm gonna see where does my graph cross the x-axis. So if I go through my x-axis, I can tell that it crosses right here, which is the point 2, 0, and it also crosses right here, -2, 0. So again, my roots are -2 and +2 because those are the x values at those 2 points. And again, another way that you can see this, probably in a multiple choice question, is written this way. The roots can be written this way as well. -2 and 2. Okay, again, that is not a point. Okay, that is not a point that we are plotting. Those are the x values, the set of x values, where y, this is the set of x values where y is equal to 0. And that's it for today.